Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the object-oriented programming features in Java. Okay. In this session, we discuss about the introduction of object-oriented programming. What is object? What is the class? Basically, as we know that when we talk about the object-oriented programming, object, class, and object are the basic components of this. Okay. After this, we discuss about the different features of the object-oriented programming like encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay. Basically, the definition of object-oriented programming as given by the Grady Booch is object-oriented programming is a method of programming in which programs are organized as a cooperative collections of objects, each of which presents an instance of some class and whose classes are all members of a hierarchy of classes united via inheritance relationship. Okay, basically Java is one such object-oriented programming language, but it is more than just a programming language. Most programming languages have no features for multi-threading, GUI building, and networking, but Java consists such type of properties also. Okay, basically recently with the popularity of C++, there has been a trend towards object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming involves building a program or a system from objects in the same way that we might build a car from its components. Okay, we may have to build some of this software object ourselves, while others may be available to us from an object library. So we can think of a program as being constructed from a set of interrelated parts which activate each other by sending messages to one another. Okay, basically object-oriented programming is developed with a different approaches in writing computer programs. This approach demands that a programmer thinks in an object-oriented manner. Okay, thinking in an object-oriented manner involves visualizing program components as objects that are very similar to the real-world objects. It is based upon modeling the world in terms of objects. These objects are then manipulated to achieve a desired result. Okay, so writing object-oriented programs involves creating objects and creating applications that use those objects. Okay, first we discuss first we discuss about the object and class, because the object and class are the basic components of the object-oriented programming. Okay, first of all, let us see what is an object. Okay, basically an object can be one or all, can be a visible thing, something that can be picked up by a person, something towards which thought or action is directed. It means we can say that object is a object is a real world entity. Okay, uh, putting in the layman's language, an object is something that has a fixed shape or well defined boundary. If we look at your computer desk, you would notice several objects of varying uh, descriptions. They may be connected to or related to an adjacent object. For example, a keyboard may be attached to a PC, and it is also a way to see that different parts of PC are distinct objects. Okay. In the ordinary sense, an object is something which is capable of being seen, touched, or sensed. Okay, but these are objects which you see in your environment. However, in association with the system development process, you have identified those objects which are present within the system environment. We will observe two characteristic things about object. First is each object has certain distinction or attributes which enable us to recognize and classify. Okay. For example, a chair has four legs, a seat, and a backrest. Secondly, each object has certain actions or methods associated with it. For example, a chair declared as an object can be moved from one place to another. Okay, basically the terms instance and object are interchangeable. Okay, the variables define the state of the object while the functions define the actions that can be performed on the object. Let us example, a plastic scale is an object it can be used to scale, measure, as well as draw lines, so that the object scale can be used for two functions, measure and draw lines. Okay. So we can say that object can be any one of the following. First is the visual thing, something that can be picked up by person, and something towards which thought or action is directed. Okay. Now uh, we can also discuss what is not an object. Okay, basically the attributes such as love and anger are not objects. For example, a man loves his girlfriend, thus love is not an object. Similarly, attributes such as time, beauty or color are not objects, not are the emotions such as happiness or sadness. These are properties of the objects. Okay, in all the objects having some state and having also some behavior. Okay, what is the state of an object? The state of an object encompasses all of the static properties of the object plus the current dynamic values of each of these properties. Let us example, uh, a vending machine which pours milk at the mother dairy booth has a static property that it accepts the coins, but the actual quantity of coins accepted at any given moment represents the dynamic value of the property. Okay, this is the real example of the state of an object. Now we discuss about what are the behavior of an object and what we mean by the behavior of any object. Basically, every object possesses some behavior which determines how an object acts and reacts. Behavior of an object represents its outwardly visible and testable activity, what operations we can meaningfully perform upon an object, and how that object reacts constitutes the entire behavior of the object. Let us see an example. Behavior of the mother dairy vending machine in that if one puts coins in a slot and pushes a button to make a selection, milk emerges from the machine. Okay. So basically this is the behavior of the project. Okay. uh, how can we identify a property of an object? Okay, basically a property is an inherent or distinctive characteristic, trait, quality or feature that contributes to making it a unique object. For example, one essential property of an elevator is that it is constrained to travel up and down and not horizontally. Properties are usually static because these are unchanged and fundamental to the nature of the object. Okay, so basically this is the I hope you can better understand what is the object, what are its states, what are its behavior, and what are the things that are not in the category of the object. Okay, now we discuss about the class. Basically the concept of class is best understood with an analogy. Out of the several objects in a room, let us talk about the suppose we can say that class is a collection of objects. Okay, basically let us also understand by the example. Suppose another example is a chair on which I am sitting. We can call it the second chair, her chair. Both these objects share certain common characteristic or attributes. Okay, so my chair and her chair are two examples of the chair class, but they exist independent of each other and the values of their characteristic or attributes differ. Okay, for example, they occupy different positions in the room, their colors are different. So chair is a class, but my chair and her chair are object or instance of a chair class. Okay, when we basically we can define the class in different ways. First, in theoretical way, class is a collection of objects. We can also say that in programming point of view, class is a collection of member variables and member functions. Okay, when we discuss about the classes and object, then how can we interact with each other? Okay, they can interact with each other by using the communication that is known as the messages. The interaction or communication between the different objects and classes is done by passing messages. The object which requires to communicate with another object will send a request message to the latter. Okay, for example, the customer object may send the order object a message like display order status of the order number XYZ. Okay. Now we discuss about the different features of object-oriented programming. Basically, when we discuss about the object-oriented concept, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism is the three features, most important features of the object-oriented programming. So first we see about the encapsulation. Basically, an object is said to be encapsulate, that means hide. Okay, basically this feature encapsulation also explore the concept of data hiding and abstraction. Okay, an object is said to be encapsulate data and program. It means that the user cannot see the inside of the object but can see the object by calling the program part of the object. For example, we are able to drive a car without knowing some much of its internal details. That is, the engine etc of the car are encapsulated and the driver need not know the details. It is the hiding features of details of one object from another object which uses it and is known as the encapsulation. We can also say that encapsulation means that no part of a complex system should depend upon the internal details of any other part of the same system. Okay, so basically we can also say that encapsulation hides the detail of the implementation of an object. Okay, encapsulation is often achieved through information hiding. It means hiding all the secrets of an object that do not contribute to its essential characteristic. For example, the human head hides the implementation of the brain. Okay, in another words we can also say that in it in class consists the member variable and member function. Basically, class is a unit that contains member variable and member function in a single unit. So it is also a part of the encapsulation. Okay. Now we discuss about the inheritance. Okay. Inheritance is defined as the property of objects by which instances of a class can have access to data and program contained in a previously defined class without those definition being uh, restated. Okay, we can understand the concept of inheritance by using inheriting the properties of one class to the another class. Okay, basically classes are linked together in a hierarchy. They form a tree whose root is the class of objects. Each class will have a superclass and possibly subclasses. A class can inherit methods from its superclass and in turn can pass methods onto its subclasses. Inheritance is always transitive. A class can inherit features from superclass many levels away. For example, if a dog is a subclass of class mammal and class mammal is in turn of a subclass of class animal, then dog will inherit attributes both from mammal and from animal. We can briefly say that inheritance means that the behavior and data associated with child class are always an extension of the property associated with the parent class. Okay, a subclass must have all the properties of the parent class and other properties as well. Basically, the class whose objects store some attributes which are common to its subclasses is known as the supertype class. For example, a class shopkeeper is a supertype. Its object store such attributes which are common to all shopkeepers like bakers, groceries, stationeries, toy store owners, etc. These shopkeepers belong to the supertype class shopkeeper. So we can expect a florist to accept money of the sale of flowers because florist object is a subclass of shopkeeper class. Such type of activity is not unique to the florist but is common to all shopkeepers. Okay, so basically we can also say that briefly we can say that inheritance is the property that will be used to use the property of one class to the another class. Okay, and it also provides the concept of the reusability. That means ki write once and use many times. Suppose a class consists a method, suppose the class having the name A consists the member function so, and if the another class B wants to access the function so or use the function so, then by using the concept of inheritance it will be easily implemented. Okay, So we can say that it is provides the concept of the reusability. Okay, the concept of inheritance is also known as the generalization, okay, or specialization. Okay, super type class is known as the generalization class. That means ki when we show about the top to bottom, it is the generalization, and when we show the hierarchy of the class from bottom to top, it is known as the specialization. Okay. Now, there are different types of inheritance that will be used in the Java: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, or hierarchical inheritance. Basically, multiple inheritance is not directly supported by Java. Multiple inheritance can be implemented by using the interface. Okay. Now we discuss about the polymorphism. Basically, polymorphism includes the ability to use the same message to different objects and use them to behave differently. These objects may be related with each other by some superclasses. The different object responds differently to the same message. Okay. Now, I conclude this session. In this session, we understand what do we mean by object-oriented programming, and what are the different features, and what is the object which is not an object, what is the class, what is the communication tool between different objects or different classes, and at the end of the session, we also discuss about the features of object-oriented programming. Okay, thanks.